Uganda's longtime president, Yoweri Museveni, has stunned East Africa. In a fiery radio interview, he warned that if landlocked nations are denied access to the sea, there could be wars in the future. And he made it clear, he was talking about access through neighboring Kenya. That one statement sent shockwaves through the region. Headlines exploded. Kenyans were furious. East African diplomacy was shaken. So today we break down exactly what Museveni said, why he said it, and how serious this situation really is. Let's begin with the trigger. Museveni insists Uganda needs the ability to operate directly on the Indian Ocean, not just for economic opportunity, but for national security. Uganda depends almost completely on Kenya's port of Mombasa for importing fuel, machinery, medicine, and exporting goods like coffee. If that supply chain is interrupted, Uganda's economy stalls. Museveni argues that this dependence leaves Uganda vulnerable. In his view, true sovereignty includes maritime access, even for a landlocked state. He wants the right to independently reach the ocean and develop a naval presence. That is a shift from purely economic thinking to a military and geopolitical argument. This leads us to Kenya's reaction. Kenyan leaders were quick to downplay the threat. They emphasized cooperation and reminded the region that Kenya already facilitates transit for Uganda, Rwanda, South Sudan, and the DRC under international law. But ordinary Kenyans, online and in the media, were outraged. Many saw Museveni's remarks as unnecessary aggression against a country that has been a major trade partner for decades. Some Kenyan commentators accused Museveni of using intimidation tactics to gain political leverage. Others saw the comments as disrespectful to Kenya's sovereignty, as if Uganda has a claim over another nation's coastline. The tension isn't just emotional. It taps into deeper regional dynamics. To understand this dispute, we need to zoom out. The East African Community, the EAC, aims to create a strong economic bloc and eventually a political federation. But landlocked countries feel they still take on more economic risk than coastal ones. Ethiopia, another landlocked giant, recently suggested it might fight for sea access if diplomacy fails. Now, Museveni appears to be echoing those concerns. Coastal nations like Kenya and Tanzania control the gateways to global trade. Whoever dominates those ports also controls tariffs, transport fees, and regional logistics. And that means influence, bargaining power, and revenue. Uganda has options, but none ideal. Tanzania offers access through the port of Dar es Salaam, and there are mega projects planned like the Standard Gauge Railway. But those plans are slow, expensive, and politically uncertain. Kenya remains the fastest route to global markets, and Museveni knows it. So what is he really after? Some analysts believe Uganda wants a legal and permanent corridor, land leased inside Kenya connecting Uganda to the ocean. A strip of coastline under shared management, protected by treaty, that can't be shut down due to political disagreements. This concept exists globally, like corridors for Zambia in Angola or South Sudan's oil pipelines crossing Sudan. But that kind of arrangement requires Kenya to give up exclusive control of some territory, something many Kenyans would fiercely oppose. That brings us to politics, at home. Museveni has ruled Uganda for nearly 40 years. His messaging increasingly leans on nationalism. Uganda strong, Uganda independent, Uganda unstoppable. This ocean access demand may energize supporters by portraying him as a leader fighting for Uganda's future security and prosperity. Rallying your people against an external threat is a common political move, especially for leaders who have been in power a long time. But we must ask the biggest question. Is war actually possible? In reality, extremely unlikely. Uganda and Kenya share far too much. Major trade routes, cross-border family ties, security cooperation, joint military operations against regional threats, membership in the same economic and political blocs. A military conflict would cripple both economies, fracture the EAC, and invite foreign intervention. No one, from governments to businesses to ordinary citizens, wants that outcome. However, dismissing this rhetoric entirely would be a mistake. Words from presidents have weight. They shape public sentiment. They influence future policy. They plant seeds for potential conflict later, especially if mistrust grows or economic competition intensifies. So what does the future hold? We are likely to see 1. New negotiations on trade routes and infrastructure. 2. Fresh pressure on Kenya to guarantee protected access for Uganda. 3. Shifts toward Tanzania, Ethiopia, and Congo as alternative partners. 4. Rising nationalism in East African politics. Regional ambitions are growing. Countries want more control over their economic destiny. Those ambitions may clash, not necessarily in battlefields, but in diplomacy, trade, and political alliances. Museveni's message was loud. Uganda will not remain dependent forever. Kenya's message in return: there will be no war, and cooperation continues. Between those two positions lies the true story, a competitive but deeply connected region trying to define its future. So what do you think? Was Museveni sounding a serious warning? Or was this a political performance meant to gain leverage and stir patriotism? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe to rhetoric for more deep dives into world geopolitics, current and past events.